What is up, YouTube? It is Joker777, and I'm back with another review for you guys. And for this review, we're actually reviewing NBC's newest show, Dracula Episode 2, which is entitled Whiff of Sulfur. And in this episode, basically, it's all about Dracula doing two things. Number one, he's going after the Order of the Dragon, and he's stepping it up by going after their business practices. And the second thing involving Dracula is he's trying to get closer to the love of his life, Mina. So we'll start off by talking about his war with the Order of the Dragon. So basically, what happens is he invites Lord Laurent over, who is one of the members of the Order, over to his house to basically try and buy out his share within the company. And of course, Lord Laurent turns him down because what kind of businessman are you going to be in one of the most powerful organizations if you just willingly sell your stock to your soon-to-be rival? And we find that this is pretty much what's going to be Dracula's main point of attack when it comes to dealing with the Order of the Dragon. Being that the Order of the Dragon is so politically and business, motivated, this is how he's going to bring them down. Because, yeah, sure, you can just kill them all if you want, but then people are going to start asking questions. It's better to take them down, leave them broke, and make them suffer, basically, because he views that death is kind of too good for them, especially after what they did with the love of his life. And we also see that Dracula basically tries to get closer to Mina in this episode. The first thing he does to get closer to her is he offers her boyfriend, Jonathan Harker, Jonathan Harker. He offers to bring him closer and to pay him, and he actually gives him like a 10-room mansion, which is unbelievable. And in return, Harker, all he has to do is just to, basically just, keep tabs on the Order of the Dragon, and to basically give him information about the members. To which Harker does. He gives him some information. We'll talk about that in a second. And we find out that Jonathan Harker is actually the one who's dating Mina, and he's actually thinking about proposing. And so I think, in a way, Dracula's going to kind of use this. He's going to get close to Harker so he can get close to Mina. It's kind of like the old saying, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. I think he doesn't mean to make an enemy out of Harker, but he definitely wants to steal Mina away from him. So We'll see how it's all going to play out. I think Dracula's going to wind up with her in the end somehow. I don't know if it's going to come to blows with Harker or not. We'll have to see. And another thing we have to take away from this episode is Dracula is basically working on a cure to walk in the sunlight. He's working with Van Helsing, who was the guy who let him out of his tomb. And he's basically been trying to help Dracula bring down the Order of the Dragon because Van Helsing actually has a reason to hate the Order of the Dragon as well. We don't quite know what it is yet, but he's basically been helping Dracula for the better part of 10 years, basically working on a cure to walk in the sunlight. And based upon the teaser for next week's episode, it looks like he may or may not be able to do that. We'll see. And that was pretty much the episode. There wasn't a whole lot to this episode. The one thing at the end though, and I think this may have ended in a checkmate for Dracula, is Harker basically tells where he can find Lord Laurent, and he goes and he basically tells him that he can find him at this club. So Dracula goes in, and it turns out it's a gay slash tranny club, which back then you didn't tell if you were gay or if you were into trannies and things like that. You didn't do that because that was basically an attack of character, and especially upon people who were so high up in the business order, that's a big no-no. So now Dracula's basically got this blackmail, and not only does he have it on Lord Laurent, but he also has it on Daryl Davenport, because those two were actually, I guess they're gay together. Like they showed them kissing in this club. So there's two people already he's got. So he's moving pretty fast with this plan, and it's actually working out quite well so far. Granted, I'm pretty sure he's going to hit a snag somewhere. He has to, because or else the season will be over in 6 episodes. So it'll be interesting to see how he holds up that blackmail. But that was just kind of a weird kind of twist at the end to find out that basically Davenport and Laurent are gay together. Let's see. So far, I've liked the season so far. Granted, we're only two episodes in, so there's not really a whole lot going on. There's not really a whole lot to basically expound upon. But I'm liking where they're going. The number one thing I like about this is the settings and the environment. They're awesome. Like, if you were to travel back to the late 1800s London, I have a feeling this is what it probably would look like. Number two, That is a wicked car that Dracula drives. I know that's not really, you know, a point for the show and all. I just thought it was cool. So I definitely like the settings and the environments. I think they're awesome. I think the acting is well on point. I love the relationship that Dracula and Lady Jane have together, just because Lady Jane is in the order, and I think now Dracula knows, because at the end of the show, he is feeding on this woman, and Lady Jane basically finds her in order to stop the woman from being turned into a vampire. She cuts off, you know, the girl's head, and Dracula sees the person who cuts off her head. I don't know if he sees the face yet or not. We don't know, but and I get the feeling that would be kind of weird for their relationship, being that they're cuddy buddies and whatnot. So it'll be interesting to see. Will they ever find out, you know, that the person that they're basically, you know, having friends with benefit is one of them's a vampire, and the other person, Lady Jane, is actually trying to hunt and kill Dracula. So that'll be awesome to see. A lot of people have been complaining about Jonathan Rhys-Meyers' American accent. I haven't really noticed it. Like, I guess it's because I don't watch shows and pay that close attention to a person's voice. But I mean, I don't really notice it. But I mean, if that's a gripe people have, I mean, I don't really know. I don't really have a gripe with it. I don't really care, in all honesty. And another thing I've seen is that people are kind of very polarizing about the show. They either like it a lot or they don't like it at all. There's no really middle ground with this show. I like the show. It's not like my favorite show of all time per se, but I'm really liking it, and I like where they're going with it. The acting is pretty good. The dialogue is good. It's got a bit of humor in there, which I like. The settings and the environments are awesome. And as far as the accent goes, I really could care less as long as they deliver solid performances. So if I'm going to give this episode a grade, I'll probably have to say I'd give it a B. I think it was very good, and I think that we're definitely leading up into something. We're definitely moving at a fast pace, so it's got all the makings of a good show. We'll see where NBC takes it. From what I've heard, I've actually heard it's a mini-series, so I don't know if it'll be an actual like full-running show. So I'll be looking for more information about that. But that's all of my review for today. And of course, I'm going to turn it over to you guys. As always, comment section below. Just leave your thoughts on the show if you watch it. Leave your thoughts if you think, you know, if they're going to turn this into a full-fledged show, or will this just be a miniseries. Leave a comment if you're upset about his accent. So, with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. My name is Joker777, and I'll see you guys later.